I'd like to introduce Susan Schwickerath. She is a senior at New Hampton High School. She was sponsored by Hawkeye Electric, or REC. Susan is Iowa's representative on the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association Youth Leadership Council. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Susan.
Let us think of education as a means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there's a private hope and dream, which fulfilled can be translated into the benefit for everyone and the greater strength for our nation. This quote was given by a president who made great impacts on our nation, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Some of the most important people had great ideas and understood the facts and reasonings behind every hope and dream. This relates to almost everything. How can one person set out to not have a hope or dream? Well, there are many of us who know exactly what we're going to do in our future. While being on youth tour, I realized I didn't have a dream. While meeting at Capitol Hill with our representatives, I decided to get my word out and get a few of my questions answered. Even after going on a run at 4 a.m. with Senator Chuck Grassley, I was still up for more questions and more chances to speak to people who I may never get to speak to again. I decided that public speaking was one of the things that I wanted to do with my future. So it brings me back to where I am now, standing in front of all of you, asking you these questions. What are your hopes and dreams? How are you going to work to achieve them? And how are they going to better you and your community? For me, living in a small town has had both its positives and its negatives. One of the negatives is the closest shopping mall is over an hour away, but it's overshadowed by how many positives there are. I live in a community where people care for each other and support each other on our endeavors. I would like to thank a few people today. First would be my father, who accompanied me today on this journey. Next would be my REC, which is Hawkeye REC, sitting in the back of the room. Next would be the State Association and Shelley York for choosing me. And lastly, the NRECA for showing me how amazing Youth Tour is. Another reason living in a small town of New Hampton, Iowa is great because it opens up so many opportunities I never would have had. I have great friends, small classes, and I'm able to maintain relationships from all over the state. This relates back to my REC and how it powers electricity for 3 different counties. These counties are all rural-based counties. They are better able to maintain relationships with their consumers and are able to help all those in need. My fondest memory while being on youth tour was at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. While watching the changing of the guard, I noticed that there's veterans wearing baseball caps saying Waterloo, Iowa. Waterloo is a city close to my hometown. I decided to go up and get the courage to go talk to these gentlemen. I had the opportunity to talk to 2 veterans and ask them who made this trip possible for them. One of the gentlemen said that it was a 4-H group from a neighboring town. And like I said earlier, it's great to maintain those relationships because not even a week after returning home from Washington, D.C., I had another conference to go to. And I actually had the chance to meet one of the students who helped send this veteran on his honor flight. For me, to be able to meet all these different people, and me to really understand how many people would work together to send about 50 veterans on an honor flight that they deserved is outstanding. It opens my heart and my mind, showing me that anyone and everyone is capable of helping. Being here today has shown me how far I've come since I began my journey, learning that I would be attending Youth Tour and representing my REC. I've learned so much with what I want to do with my future. I've also learned how important it is to maintain the relationships that I've started. I've learned that I should be thankful for every opportunity I get because I may never get it again. Once again, I repeat the quote by President Kennedy because I believe it's true and how it relates to me, Youth Tour, my REC, the State Association, and the NRECA. Let us think of education as a means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there's a private hope and dream, which fulfilled can be translated into the benefit for everyone and the greater strength for our nation. Thank you.